All right, everyone. Hopefully, this session was helpful for you. I know some people are not design majors. Some people are taking this course from like psychology and some other departments. So, this might be the first time you've really talked about design concepts. And anything I'm telling you, you could definitely go much deeper. I'm just giving you guys kind of the survey top, quick 90-30 second overview of basic design concepts. You could take an entire class just on design concepts where we talk about hierarchy and balance and emphasis and looking at examples of that in real life, design work and seeing how that plays out and all that kind of good stuff. But hopefully this gives you some idea. And for students who might be in the design department, but this is like they're sort of the beginning of their career versus the end, where maybe they haven't taken as many design courses. At the end of the day, web development or app development or all that, it's still design. We don't think of it traditionally like that in the way we think of like a poster or, a billboard or something, but it's still design. And you got to think about aspects of like guiding the audience through your project, creating a vibe, creating a mood that's conducive to the message that's going on and things like that. One thing I want you guys to do, I have a new discussion for us all, which is how do what is your background with visual design? Some people here, like I said, this is a elective for them or something. They've taken design courses, maybe in high school, maybe already here at state or some other community college or something like that. Um, or some people, this is like literally the first design class maybe they've ever done. Maybe they're a computer science person where you don't really talk very much about visuals. I can attest to that, having many conversations with programmers and talking about experience and that kind of thing. And it's so what is it? What have you taken? There's no right or wrong answer. I'm just interested to see what people have said. So if you've taken design classes, what was it? What did you learn? Are you interested in other areas of design? There's a lot of areas of design that could play into web development, interaction design, even typography. It's like, think about an interesting font or an interesting font choice that really like makes the website more interesting or sells the concept of what the site is doing. You know what I mean? So, I'm giving you guys that. Today is the 28th. This will be due by the 9th, which is the Friday after next. Okay. Also, you guys should be working on, there's two labs due by the end of this week. The first is the box model lab that I signed a couple weeks ago. This goes over, wait for it, box model properties of CSS. That includes like width, height, padding, margins, borders, all that good stuff. This is like the beginnings of very basic layout. Something we're going to talk much more in depth about, but like at least you're getting you're dipping your toes, so to speak, into layout. Definitely something that's important in design. You guys are doing the basic web page lab. That's due this Friday. This is kind of like a template where it's like, okay, you have a visual design. How do you translate that visual design into an actual working technological HTML CSS page? You know what I mean? So it's like, okay, we're gonna take this text and we're gonna take this content like images and text and we're gonna structure it with HTML. We're going to add in visual design, background colors, and box model properties of width and all that kind of stuff, good stuff. And this is going to be a template for your first major project, okay? And then you also have your flower shop, which is not due this week, but is due the 7th, which is not this Wednesday, but the Wednesday after next, okay? So that's what's going on. No new, I mean, besides the discussion, there's no new homework. You should just be working on these labs. If you've been really good and you've already, started doing that and you finished them all, maybe start thinking about working on the project, which is due in about 2.5 weeks. Okay. If you have any questions, feel free to email me at davidhurwich at sfsu.edu. I can spell. See, there you go. Okay.